Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a safe space for talking shit about the government and politicians and idiots. So if you have been a subscriber, you know I've been not super motivated to talk about politics lately, but I don't know, I guess I just am this week because here I am again talking some shit. So as anyone who's paid attention to literally anything this week knows, Republicans have they've actually done some shit for once. We won some shit, guys. This is a friendly reminder. We are capable.
That Mike Carey is the projected winner of Ohio House District 15. Not a surprise.
The suburbs have swung in both key states.
George, this is a sonic boom of a wake-up call for Democrats. Biden won Virginia by 10 points just a year ago. He won New Jersey by 16 points. And the big factor is the one you mentioned. Republicans vastly outperformed in the suburbs. That is precisely where the battle for control of Congress will be waged next year in the midterm election.
An African-American lieutenant governor, a heartbeat away from the governor in the Commonwealth of Virginia. She resists the CRT and that whole progressive doctrine.
She's amazing, and she has an incredible name. It's one that you will definitely remember, so it'll be fun to watch her career.
But not without the commentary, banter, and just bullshit spewing that comes from liberal media and liberal politicians. Because apparently we are all very racist. If you're white and you're not a liberal, you're racist. I think those are the rules at this point. I think it's that easy to figure out.
Some of it was dog whistle racism.
1,000%.
It's essentially white identity politics. That works for Republicans.
Education, right, which is code for white parents don't like the idea of teaching about race.
I mean, the Democrats just have no self-awareness. They have no self-awareness as to why they just fucking lost. They don't even have any plans for shit. They have short-term plans which suck dick, and then they don't even have a long-term plan. They don't even have a plan past tomorrow. Everything they do is just oh, that sounds good, and it's just yeah, if you're 5 and you have no concept of money or life, some of the things they come out and say, it's embarrassing, because you know that people in other countries, if that's the shit they see Americans saying, they think we're all that fucking stupid. Some of them are saying white supremacy. Other ones, such as AOC, are saying that they just didn't push hard enough. They didn't go far enough. They didn't get enough progressive ideas passed through.
On the election front, I actually think we have good news as well. I know that Virginia was a huge bummer, and honestly, if anything, I think that the results show the limits of trying to run a fully 100% super moderated campaign that does not excite, speak to, or energize a progressive base. And frankly, we weren't even really invited to contribute on that race.
And to actually think that, express it, and really mean it to your core, is she okay? Does AOC need an evaluation? Because I'm starting to think she does. Because that's not reality. That's just not reality. And to blame it on white people, or just anyone who goes against CRT, which if you have a brain at all, you will be against CRT. It was actually a majority of brown people, as they call them these days, because they're all about race. It was that demographic that fucking voted for all these, supposedly white supremacists.
Youngkin won Hispanics 55%. He won whites 60%. He doubled Trump's numbers with black women. That is what they call a rainbow coalition. This wasn't a base election. This isn't a blue state.
The lack of self-awareness is disturbing, and I kind of want to know what you guys think. Should you have to pass an IQ test and a sanity test, just to make sure that the politicians we're putting in place live in reality? Should that be a thing? Should we kind of require that? Because I'm getting kind of worried. Then there's Biden, who apparently wasn't clued into the fact that we'd be giving illegals who were separated from their families during the Trump administration, because I guess fuck the ones during this administration. I don't understand that, by the way. Like, just gotta make some weird dig at Trump that doesn't make sense because you've done like far worse. Anyways, apparently no one include Biden into the fact that we'd be giving them almost $500,000 each. Because he said this.
That might incentivize more people to come over illegally.
If you guys keep sending that garbage out, yeah, but it's not true.
So this is a garbage report?
Yeah.
Okay. So
$450,000 per person. Is that what you're saying?
That was separated from a family member at the border under the last administration.
That's not going to happen.
And then he said that.
Real quick, sir, where do you stand? You said last week that this report about migrant families at the border getting payments was garbage.
No, I didn't say that. Let's get it straight. You said everybody coming across the border gets $450,000.
So the number was what you had a problem
with. The number I was referring to.
Okay.
Now here's the thing.
Sure.
If in fact, because of the outrageous behavior of the last administration, you coming across the border, whether it was legal or illegal, and you lost your child, he's gone, you deserve some kind of compensation, no matter what the circumstance. What that will be, I have no idea. I have no idea.
What? Who let this happen? Because it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I object to this whole situation. I reject the government as a whole right now because nothing fucking makes sense. And like I've been saying for months on end, I feel like we're living in a parody. An SNL skit, something is off, something's not right. This can't be real. So I was watching, I think it was Candace Owens. I want to say it was Candace Owens. It was on her like talk show she has. She was doing like this whole thing about this professor. I think it's like women in sexual studies or something like that. Like that's what she's a professor of. But she spewed some of the most, no actually not some, it was the worst, most blatant, fucking disgusting racism I have ever heard in my entire life.
I think that white people viscerally fear. It's not that white people don't know, right, what they have done. They know. They fear that there is no other way to be human but the way in which they are human, which is to, so, you know, like you talk to white people and whenever you really want to have a reckoning about it, they say stuff like, you know, it's just human nature. If y'all had all of this power, you would have done the same thing, right? And it's like, no, that's what white humans did. White human beings thought there's a world here and we own it. Prior to them, Black and brown people have been sailing across. And that's the thing that white people don't trust us to do because they are so corrupt. You know, their thinking is so morally and spiritually bankrupt about power that they can't they fear viscerally, existentially letting go of power because they cannot imagine that there's another way to be. It is either that you dominate or you are dominated. And isn't it sad that is spiritually who they are and that they can't imagine a sort of more expansive notion of the world? The thing I want to say to you is we got to take these motherfuckers out. All things that begin end. White folks are not infinite and eternal, right? They ain't gonna go on for infinity and infinity. And that's super important to remember that white colonialism and imperialism has a beginning. And in my way of thinking about the world, that means it has an end. And so part of what we are trying to do is to imagine what are the steps that we must take to get to the other side of this very inconvenient, you know, epochal interruption of like Black and indigenous world making.
The fact that none of them hear their own words, like as they're saying them, like they don't compute like what the fuck they just said and like what it actually means. Like they'll scream about white people being racist and white people not being able to handle this or that and the end of all white people needs to happen. Like how do we get to that point? It's like what? What? But white people are the problem and you're thinking like this? Like that's a crazy person problem. Like what the fuck kind of drugs has she done? What kind of fucking disorders does she have? Is she like neurologically fully fucking there? How do you get to the point where you are so angry about racism to the point you are calling for the extinction of a whole fucking race of human beings solely based on skin color? Like what? this shit just can't be real. There's just no fucking way. This is ridiculous. It's stupid. And the longer it goes on and really nobody does anything, the scarier it gets and the more disconnected I feel from, like, people. Because it's like, people are actually okay with this. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, how do you think that way? And why? So, I'll stop having, like, a mini meltdown right now and wrap this video up. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please give this video a like if you did in fact like it. If you didn't like it, suck my dick. Subscribe if you haven't already and you are interested in seeing me 1 or 2 times a week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you, you'll see me next time. Bye guys.